Tonight, 25 News is airing a special report on glioblastoma. It's an aggressive type of cancer that can occur in the brain or the spinal cord. Glioblastoma can occur at any age, but is more common in older adults. We sat down with a local woman who lost her husband to the disease.
Are we gonna have one? So I knew that we were dealing with cancer, but I don't think I realized that we were dealing with a cancer that there was no cure for.
And joining us now with more of Grace's story and more about glioblastoma is our evening anchor, Tyler Lopez. Thank you so much, Tyler, for coming in this morning.
Happy to be here and happy to share this story with Grace and so many other people that deal with it in Central Illinois.
Absolutely. And this is a type of cancer that, personally, I had heard about it, but don't know much about it. And I would assume some people at home may also be in that same boat.
Sure.
So what is glioblastoma?
It's a deadly form of brain cancer that just does not go away is the problem. So
wow.
Senator McCain had it. If you look at some of the names throughout history, there have been some famous people who have dealt with glioblastoma. And the issue is that even if you have surgery, it just comes back. And the survival rate is roughly 14 months once you've been diagnosed.
Wow.
That's on the high end typically. A lot of times it's not even that long. So it's just a super aggressive form of cancer that defies treatment at this point.
Wow. Oh, man, that's hard to hear.
It is.
Very hard to hear. And so you spoke with Grace.
I did.
And how did you meet her?
Thanks to Jody Brown at KB Strong, actually. She helped me get in touch with. There's a network here in Central Illinois because Grace isn't the only one.
Right.
There are, in fact, I can read you some. Part of the reason we wanted to do this is a letter I got in January from someone. I lost my husband, 62-year-old brother, my 62-year-old brother, January 1st of 2020 to glio. You were doing a series on this cancer, then COVID-19 came around. I wish you would show that series again. There are many people in Central Illinois still battling this cancer. They need to be informed. So I got this in January,
wow.
and it's always been in the back of my mind because back in 2019 we did talk about several people, Earl Boitnott, Norman Emery, Rob Bryant, Kevin Brown. They've all died since 2019 as a result of this cancer. So I knew I wanted to get back on the subject, and now that we've got some sort of scientific momentum to work with, I felt like this was the right time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of the science behind this, is there, I know there's a lot of talk about if there's a possible connection between COVID and glio. What do we know at this point about that?
It is so complicated. I have to get my scientific notes because this is difficult stuff. Basically, we're talking about an element of the spike protein they discovered because they had time in the lab when they were shut down for COVID. And one of the doctors kept thinking, why does that look familiar to me? And it's an element called galectin-1. It's an animal lectin, so it binds to sugars in the family. And they're carbohydrates that bind to proteins. And the belief is, if there's a way to slow the way they multiply, perhaps you can slow the spread of glioblastoma. It's not a cure at any point, and they're certainly not there yet, but they feel encouraged by what they learned from the COVID-19 shutdown.
That's so interesting. Very, very interesting. And will we learn more about that in your report tonight?
We will learn more about it tonight. It's the doctors feel very confident there is more on the way in the fight against glio. Wow.
Oh, wow. Well, and speaking of your report, when can we catch this report?
Yes, it'll be tonight at 10 o'clock. And for folks who have any interest in looking into the subject, there's a Facebook page, Wives of GBM Patients is the name, and Grace is active on that page if you'd like to take a look, or if there's someone you'd like to get in contact with, that could be a place to do it.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the report, Tyler, and I know a lot of people, especially after hearing that letter, I know a lot of people are really appreciative of what you're doing, and it's so sad to hear, though, but I hope we can get to the end of this one day.
There's a lot to this subject, and by no means is this the end, but it is a commitment that we're going to get back on this.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, and again, we look forward to your report.
All right, Aaron.
All right, and we'll be right back. Of course, we have our birthday shout-outs. We'll tell you who's blowing out some candles in Central Illinois today. We'll be right back.